Day, this is Ryan Claros from Custom Fitness, licensed physical therapist. Thank you again for joining us with our daily maintenance segment number 11. We're kind of going over our runner series, and this is our runner series number 3. If you haven't joined us the last 2 episodes, let me just kind of catch you up. What we talked about is the idea of strength and conditioning for runners. And what we said was that we're trying to debunk these myths that if you want to build endurance, these are with high reps, with low weight, and that is totally not true. What we want to be able to do is we want to load heavy, right? We want to load heavy and we want to go to 2 to 3 days a week, 60 to 70% of whatever your 1 rep max is. Remember, as we begin to age, we see the tendon stiffness decrease, we see the release of energy, of efficiency decrease, and we see the resiliency of these tendons and muscles kind of decrease. So what we want to be able to do is we want to build that resiliency through proper loading. And if we want to be able to do that and we can do it right, we said that we can reduce the risk of injury, we can then increase your running economy, and then we want to be able to increase your run performance. And overall, that's what we're going to try to do. So here we go. What we want to be able to do is we want to debunk the idea of knee pain, and we're going to show you how to treat it. Now, a lot of times when we see people with knee pain, they kind of assume it's just because of just general weakness. In reality, patellofemoral pain, in essence, is seen here, and we'll just do kind of a quick anatomy. See the quadricep muscles right in here? Quadricep tendon goes to the patella then goes to the patella tendon, and we see the tibia, which then this is the tibial tuberosity. Within this, as a reminder, okay, the patella, this region is used to distribute force. So that's the anatomy of it, right? What we want to be able to see is that people who do more weight-bearing activities such as running, jumping, right? We see that pain just right in this area, very tender to the touch. If you wanted to test this at home, what we want to be doing is, hey, Paul, Coach Paul, by the way, from Custom Fitness, head coach, do me a favor, go ahead and squat. And go ahead and come on up. Will we see pain with squatting and or pain with going down a step? Coach, can you go down a step? Boom. You'll see that painful right in there, and go ahead and come on up. So that's easy ways to test patellofemoral syndrome. Right now, remember, we're just this is non-diagnosed knee pain, so we want to be able to make sure that if you do have knee pain in this general region, right, we want to also exclude any of the pain coming from the hips, right in this iliotibial band and TFL portion, or just right in this lateral part of the knee that has referred pain here. So this is, we're going to make sure that this is just pure runner's knee or jumper's knee. And we can do that again by using those 2 simple tests. Now, what we want to be able to do is understand what are the causes of this pain. So again, if you've been at home and if you've been loading more than you have, meaning you've been exercising more, squatting more, running more, that can be one cause. So loading can be an issue. We can also see just general muscle deficits or weaknesses within muscles. Now, remember, if you're running or jumping, it's kind of a single leg activity. So we know that, Coach, can you go ahead and just run for, pretend like you're running? So we know that you have to be able to single leg stand on one leg. So guess what? You could also have maybe a muscle deficit, whether it's coming from the hip, the knee, or even the ankle, or even at the lower back that's causing a lot of this pain. Another idea is just the idea of muscle coordination. And all that means is that the muscles that are when they're engaged, they're not engaged in the right movement. So maybe the hip is going a little bit early, the ankle is going a little bit early. So we see that's the third cause. And then the fourth cause is just kind of mobility impairments. So a lot of times people try to do a lot of things. So maybe that you have just maybe decrease of flexibility or mobility, maybe in the knee joint, the ankle joint, and in the hip joint. So when we try to treat these things, you try to do a checklist of, hey, by the way, am I weight bearing too much? If that's the cause, guess what? Back off a little bit, right? Back off just a little bit, and then just kind of re-ramp everything up in a progressive nature. Muscle deficits, muscle coordination, and then muscle impairments can be addressed through, guess what? Strength and conditioning or proper loading, even when you do have a loading issue. Now, when we do those, what we want to be able to do is 2 exercises that we know that will help. And again, here's the major issue. Rest is not going to help, okay? Rest decreases the ability for that tendon to handle load. So with all those, loading is important for us. So we just want to load correctly. So how do we load? We want to load other portions of our body to be able to start being able to progressively load that tendon. So coach is going to go ahead and stand to the side. Now, here's the deal. Coach is going to go ahead and squat like he normally does. Hips go back, knees come out, boom. And you can see the angle of his shin. Knees are pointed forward. And guess what? Kind of a lot of pressure on that knee, especially when that's the test that we did, right? We said, hey, by the way, that's going to be a positive pain test. We don't want to move into pain, right, to a certain extent, but we want to be able to challenge the tendons within that knee to be able to build up, right, coach? How are we doing with that? Good. So what we're going to do is, hey, by the way, we want to squat, but we're going to squat with a 4D. So all we're going to do is from this position, it's a 4D first, and go ahead and squat. And this angle is more vertical, and you go ahead and come down, right? And you're going to feel that more in the hips. Remember, 4D first, go ahead and come on down. And go ahead and come on up. Yes, it does look a little bit funny and a little bit sketchy, but this is one way that you can squat, right? Building resiliency within the tendon and not aggravating. Go ahead and coach. Go ahead and come on forward and go ahead and squat. Perfect. Remember, as you begin to get used to this and desensitization, we can then kind of squat lower and we can add weight. The second exercise that we want to show you is just kind of a split stance squat. And all that is that we're going to go ahead and put one leg back. Using that trunk forward lean again, we're going to go ahead and try to drive that back knee down. You're going to feel lots of weight bearing through the hip, not a lot through the knee at all. Not a lot through the knee, but we are weight bearing enough to just be able to challenge the knee to be able to make sure that that knee is being used in the right context. Okay, go ahead and switch, coach. Again, split stance forward lean. Try to get that back knee down there, coach. And then go ahead and come on up. And again. And go ahead and come on up. All right, now, so remember, this is for non-diagnosed anterior knee pain when you're doing activities such as running, jumping, going up the stairs, and just general loading. Now, this category falls with adults only. If you are between the ages of 9 and 14 and you have pain in that general area, please seek out a physical therapist or an orthopedic doctor. There's probably some underlying issue with that. Again, if you need any medical advice, anything, please seek Custom Fitness, right, for all your physical therapy needs. We can address any running deficits, any strength deficits, any coordination deficits, and any mobility deficits that are happening right from running. Thank you again for joining us.